who's as adamant about his or her position as I am about mine, whom you think is sharp. Seriously, we know that. And another thing, we heard him say that... And welcome to yet another edition of And Another Thing. I am, of course, your humble, loyal host, Larry Elder, the sage from South Central, the Prince of Pico Union, the czar of common sense. Did I mention how humble I am? Got some kind of sad news this week. You know my book, Dear Father, Dear Son, which is doing very well. I think I mentioned to you before, I'm going to be on Ricky Lake to promote the book on January the 8th, so be sure and tune in on that. One of the characters that I talk about in my book was my best friend growing up. His name is David. And David's wife called me just yesterday and told me that David... all right, one more. Robert from Sherman Oaks, last one. You mentioned Idaho Representative Raul Labrador in a recent show. With one of the biggest issues that haunted the Republican candidate this year being immigration and the Hispanic vote, a man like Raul seems to be the perfect type to young up and color up the right. And he seems like somebody with views that actually help the country. Since it seems you aren't considering throwing your hat into the ring, does that seem fresh and exciting? Yes, I like the guy, but let me just take issue with your premise. The premise seems to be that if the Republican Party alters its position on immigration, that will somehow bring them the Hispanic vote. I don't buy that at all. Take a look at the Cuban vote. My colleague Dennis Prager wrote a column recently where he talked about the fact that that Obama almost won the Cuban vote. The Cuban vote has historically gone to Republicans because so many Cuban exiles and the immediate children of these exiles have a fresh experience with communism from Fidel Castro. And so they hate the idea of totalitarianism, they hate the idea of a big government, of collectivism, and they want a government that's strong national security. However, the children and grandchildren of these Cubans are more and more likely to be Democrats. In fact, Obama almost took that vote. He got about 48% of the vote, and that's more than anybody's ever gotten. And my point is, this is the Cuban vote. Imagine the Mexican vote, Mexican-American vote, which is about half of the Hispanics that are in this country are of Mexican descent. And just because all of a sudden a politician says, let's grant some sort of legal status to the people who are here illegally, Hispanics are going to now vote Republican. Hispanics are more likely to believe that rich people need to be taxed more. Hispanics are more likely to believe in race-based preferences. Hispanics are more likely to believe in a social safety net. And Hispanics are disproportionately receiving government benefits the way blacks are disproportionately receiving government benefits. So all of that says to me they're going to vote for the party of big government, of growing the government, and of taxing somebody else. So you can tinker with these little issues if you want to, but it won't do any good. This guy, Raul, if he ever gets to be a national figure, will be demonized the same way Herman Cain was demonized, even though he's black. Did that help to young up and color up the Republican Party, Herman Cain and Allen West? No, they were branded as Uncle Toms and sellouts. And that's the same thing this guy will be branded as. The fight has to be between the ears of the American people. They have to renounce collectivism. They have to understand this country was founded on the basis of limited government, personal responsibility. And that's a two-way street. It means maximum personal responsibility and acceptance. When you make a decision, sometimes things are going to go badly, and you're on your own. And able-bodied people and able-minded people should be able to help those who are not able-bodied and not able-minded, and that's what we ought to do. That is the debate that needs to be had in this country, and you have three powerful forces against that: academia, Hollywood, and the mainstream media. And those three forces all believe in the Constitution being a living, breathing document. They believe that rich people haven't paid enough in taxes. They believe that a social safety net is a moral and a constitutional right, that health care is a right. And unless people are disabused of that, tinkering with a Republican on the margins of changing his view on immigration won't do a darn thing. I hope you enjoyed this small excerpt. If you want to see the full video, got to be in El Dorado. Go to my website, larryelder.com, log in, fill out the form. It'll cost you about $4.75 a month, or about the price of a mocha frappuccino latte at your favorite coffee house. As you can tell, I don't like coffee. I'm a tea drinker. See you next time.